When we look at the evidence in favor of privatization in other sectors, not just education, when we look at the health sector or transportation or other such sectors, we see more or less a similar trend. But in the education sector, the beneficial effects of privatization are perhaps more modest. They are not as apparent because schools that don't do well don't really put forth what they've done, how their results are, what their students did. And so only the good elite English medium schools that put up these results and publicize these results to show what great work they are doing is not good enough, because that is only a small chunk of the private schools in the entire country. And so most of the private schools we don't hear of because apparently they are not doing as well. That doesn't mean that they are not doing well at all, but we won't find that out unless those schools are willing to share their results on a larger basis, where somebody can actually go and do a complete longitudinal research study and find out what level of goodness is good and what level of quality is quality for different private educational institutions in terms of the results they produce. In other words, unless the government requires private schools to submit maybe an annual report of their performance or something, and therefore recommend that the school continue or not, this is not going to happen. We need a national data bank where these results can be put together and a large-scale survey can be done as to how good these private schools or so-called private schools are actually doing. The third is equity. Equity is not the same as equality. Equality means same. Everybody has the same. Equity means everybody gets what they need. So if I don't need something, I don't need to get it. But if you need more than what I need, you need to get that. And that's what equity is. So this criterion refers to a universally accepted goal of schooling: the quest for fairness in access to educational opportunities, resources and outcomes by gender, social class, race, language origins, geographical location of students. So no matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, all students should be guaranteed the same quality education without any discrimination. So are we really fair and just in the quality of education and in our dealings with students? That is more important. A student learns more from how a teacher deals with that individual than from what the teacher tries to say to that individual. So these teacher dealings are absolutely critical. And students, I'm sorry, are not stupid today. They see through. And that is when students talk, oh, this is the teacher's pet, or the teacher is not being fair, the teacher favors this. When students talk about of the teacher not being fair, of the teacher favoring students, you know you are not in the equity mode. When students don't talk about you in those terms, chances that you are in the equity mode are strong. And remember, equity is not equality. Those are not the same things. You may think, I'm treating everybody the same. No, one child may need more of my time than another child. A student who's already getting an A doesn't need that much time versus a student who's failing in my class. So if I say, well, I have to give everybody the same time. No, you don't. You don't have to be equal, you have to be equitable. And so equity means you are giving what a student needs. If a student needs more, he gets more, without question. Equity can be assessed in terms of inputs. Do all students receive an appropriate amount of funding and resources from the state government commensurate with their needs? You see, everybody doesn't need the same amount of money. Everybody doesn't need the same amount of financial help. Are you getting the financial help you actually need? That's equity. Do students with special needs get appropriate schooling? young children who are blind or deaf or anything like that, retarded, are they getting the kind of education that they should be getting? Those students obviously need more than normal able-bodied students. That is equity.